Buenos días, día 6. ¿Cómo te sientes, mi amor?
Estoy un poco cansada, pero muy emocionada por el lugar que vamos a visitar hoy.
Habíamos decidido que íbamos a ir hoy a Busch Garden, pero cambiamos los planes y vamos ahora directamente desde Miami. Desde Miami vamos directamente a San Agustín. Son casi 5 horas de viaje y comenzamos ahora y vamos de ruta directo a San Agustín. Los pasados días pueden ver los diferentes reviews que hemos hecho. La hemos pasado espectacular visitando lugares bonitos, tranquilos, donde pasarla bien y que a la misma vez puedas apreciar lo que es la cultura y la historia de cada lugar. Así que vamos a ir directamente hasta el lugar histórico de San Agustín. Nos vemos ya mismo. Hemos llegado a San Agustín, ya estacionamos el auto y ahora vamos a coger un trolley que nos va a llevar a diferentes puntos de la ciudad. Estamos en la parte histórica, quiero que vean. Así que ya vamos a ver y ya mismo les sigo haciendo un par de tomas por ahí.
Augustine, where you're more than welcome to get on and off at any of our stops, as another trolley comes along every 15 minutes. Spanish colony, and number 3, Christianize the local natives.
Sí, aquí tenemos
When Pedroman
la
and
vista
his
de uno
army
de los
arrived,
castillos
they marched north to
en
capture
la
that
avenida
fort,
denominada
which they were
Ponce
able
de
to
León,
do
Juan
rather
Ponce de
easily.
León.
Well, the
En ese
reason
castillo
why
hay
it
varios
was so
restaurantes.
easy to take control of that fort, you see, was because it was likely
Ahí tenemos el
guarded,
castillo de
and it was likely
Ripley,
guarded only
Believe it
because
or
the
not.
French had heard the Spanish were coming, so they came down here to attack them. However, they didn't come marching down like
Ahí al final podemos ver el castillo San Marcos.
Whereas only about 250 survived. Pedro Menendez ended up capturing them, and he asked them one very important question. He said, "Are you
Y ahora
Catholic?"
estamos aquí en la
They said, "No, we're
parte
French Protestant
de la
Huguenots
ciudad.
and quite proud of it." Well, gang, that was the wrong answer. They were marched behind the dunes. Their throats were put to that Spanish sword and split from neck to navel. Their bodies were thrown in that Matanzas Bay, which we're going to come up
Ahí
to.
tenemos la estructura de las primeras escuelas de aquí.
Go into that swamp area, fetch the children to bring them back to this very school. Since that was considered a little bit dangerous for those drivers, they too were paid that same $20 a month in the good old cemetery in town. So you had to be buried here in this Huguenot or Protestant cemetery. Well, don't stop by the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, fun for pirates of all ages, with over 600 authentic pirate artifacts in this museum. It's a lot of fun, everybody. Where they stop. Stop number 5 is the Colonial Quarter. They have colonial tours here all day long. You can see a musket being fired as well as a blacksmith shop in operation. And this is also a quicker stop, folks, if you'd like to go check out the fort before we get there a little bit later on in the tour. It's Tosh, one of the city's favorites. All right. As a defensive reason, you see these narrow roads would not have allowed large armies nor their equipment to come in to effectively attack the city. Even the curvature of these streets would not have allowed cannons to correctly shoot at any given target. So it was quite ingenious thinking for those defensive reasons back in the day. And coming up in just a second to our right-hand side, inside of these pink walls, we're going to see a great example of a Spanish garden. Right in the center of it will be a statue of Queen Isabella on, of all things, her donkey, folks. You see what she used to like to do? She liked to dress up as a poor person in disguise, hop on her donkey and ride through town to see if any of the townspeople were maliciously gossiping about the Queen, and then she'd let them have it. Oh, yes. This is stop 7, everybody. Hippolyta and St. George. And to our right is the famous Columbia restaurant, another of the city's favorite, folks. Now, this area behind the Columbia restaurant is known as the Market Quarter, and that's because in 1768 there was a Scottish doctor by the name of Andrew Turnbull who wanted to do build him a new church if they would just give him the piece of property he wanted. They said, Mr. Flagler, if you'll throw in a parsonage, you've got yourself a deal. Folks, Henry Flagler spent $84,000 of his own money back then to build this beautiful Grace United Methodist Church and the adjoining parsonage. The piece of property he received in return was worth only about $4,000 at that time. I can assure you it is worth way more today. And we're going to be going past there in just a few moments. City Baptist Church. It is the oldest masonry Baptist church in the state of Florida. But Mr. Flagler made the Baptist congregation have one small stipulation with their church.
Tenemos uno de la iglesia más vieja
in this area already, and he did not want to hear another bell clanging on a Sunday morning. So he made the Baptist congregation have no working bell in that bell tower. To this very day, folks, there is nary a bell to be heard coming from that bell tower. Well, I guess if you get the land for free, you gotta give a little, you know? Oh, yes. And this lovely church coming up to our right-hand side, Mr. Flagler had his hand in this one also, but there's a sad story behind it. You see, Henry Flagler had one daughter by the name of Jenny Louise, who lived in New York with her husband. Jenny Louise gave birth to a little baby girl. She named her Marjorie. Sadly, that little girl was only a few hours after being born, and Jenny Louise herself was suffering complications. She was on her way by steamship to St. Augustine, where she too passed away. Heartbroken, Henry Flagler had this lovely church built in her memory. He had his men working around the clock. They completed this lovely structure in only 361 days. Folks, this is also stop 8, the Flagler Presbyterian Memorial Church. $250,000. Mere pocket change, right? If you have those deep pockets. And if you lose the rotunda end of the building sticking out, that was the dining hall for the hotel guests, and it is still the dining hall for the college kids today. But when this hotel was being built, Mr. Flagler wanted it to be spectacular. So he hired a little-known artist back then by the name of Louis.
De aquí de San Agustín hoy día es una universidad.
Stained glass windows for his hotel. Folks, there are 79 Tiffany glass windows in this structure. It is the largest collection of Tiffany glass anywhere in the world. They're protected by bulletproof plexiglass, and they're only worth a mere $131 million today, everybody. Some more of that pocket change, right?
Yeah.
Well, also when this hotel was being built, Mr. Flagler wanted it built out of a sturdy material, as well as something that was fireproof. And we say, isn't that interesting that he wanted it built out of a fireproof material, everybody? That's why we think he had something to do with the burning down of the San Marco Hotel in 1897. It has just never, ever been proven he did that. You see, Henry Flagler wanted the monopoly on the only luxury hotel here in town. As I said, it has never been proven he did that, but he was in luck anyhow, because back in 1883, there was a wealthy Bostonian architect by the name of Franklin Smith who wanted to build his winter home down here, and he was working with a revolutionary new method of construction at that time. Today, we simply call it poured concrete. That's how the Ponce de Leon behind us was built, as well as the Smith right here. Folks, this was one of the first concrete buildings ever built in the United States. He collected beautiful Victorian items, Tiffany glass, toys and buttons, just an array of lovely things from that time period. Well, he came down this way in 46, saying he wanted to purchase a warehouse to house all of those items, and he did. He bought this brown building to our right-hand side and turned it into his Lightner Museum. Folks, they have many, many beautiful items inside of this museum. They used to have a wonderful music box display tour. It's not those little music boxes you put on your daughter's. On the other side of the building, on the other street. And the neat feature this part of the hotel had, the roof would open up at night as they had a crane to open it. People could be swimming. vodka is not from potatoes, but from sugar cane. Folks, they have free taste testing tours here all day long. And as the day gets longer and I pick people up on this other side, they sure do have big smiles on their faces. I understand these tours are pretty darn nice. Did I mention they're free and all day long? All right here at the St. Augustine Distillery, everybody. Why, look, folks, there's some happy people now waiting for us. All right, stop 11, everybody, is the distillery. All right. They make 12 of their own wines, and 8 of those wines are made from this sweet Florida muscadine grape. Their wines have won many, many awards. And guess what, folks? They have free taste testing tours here all day long, just like the distillery. Now, isn't this a convenient little corner, everybody? Oh, yes, they do. Now, folks, since they're doing some drainage and street repair work behind the chocolate factory, if you're taking any...
Llegamos al hotel Southern Oaks Inn aquí en San Agustín. Miren esto, para que vean antes de que llegue la revolución a él. Tremendo. Cafetera, de todo. Escritorio, microondas y nevera. Yes.
Flower, cafeterita, nítido.
Y ahora a descansar.
A descansar un ratito.
Y a comer chocolate.
Yes. Chocolate de San Agustín.
I think we did it this time. First time for everything. All right. Thank you. Now, folks, this white home coming up in front of us that they named the Chechi House. This was one of those Sears catalog hit homes that were popular from 1908 to the 40s. You could just order the model you wanted from your Sears catalog. It would come with some tools, materials, pretty much everything you needed. There were about 70,000 of these homes built, mostly in the southern and midwestern regions. The original structure was built back in 1927, but in 2005 the city thought it could just not handle the traffic load any longer, so this new structure was built. But first, folks, there is Miss Libby, our St. Augustine Information Officer. If you have any questions, Libby knows the answer to all of them. Hello, Miss Libby. Now, that bridge was completed 5 years later in 2010. It spans 1,545 feet from shore to shore, and those 4 center towers are from that original 1927 structure. But when we get a little bit closer to the base of the bridge, I'll point out 2 Italian marble lions at that base. Those lions were a gift to the city for the original 1927 structure. And those lions have a couple of names on them. One is firm and one is faithful. And that's what we'd like to say our St. Augustine motto is, everybody, firm and faithful. It's not these 2 lions coming up to our left. Those are imposters. The real ones are coming up in just a moment. But folks, if you might see quite a few lion figures around this city and the plaza, well, back in the day, that was considered a sign of strength, and hopefully we wouldn't be attacked. But I don't know how well that worked. Do you, since we've been burned down 9 times? Go figure. But Old Town Trolley's newest stop, everybody, at stop 16 is the Marina stop. If you're taking any of the boat excursions, or if you'd like to get out to walk around the plaza, go to some of the restaurants, this is our newest stop, everybody. The Marina Lions, firm and faithful, guarding the bridge and good old St. Augustine. And coming up in just a second to our left-hand side at the end of this yellow building, we're going to see a very, very narrow street. It is the narrowest street in St. Augustine at 6 foot, 1 inch in width, and it's named Treasury Street. The reason why it was built so narrow back in colonial times, you see, the Treasury Bank building was located
estamos entrando al pueblo como tal, pero esta vez estamos caminando por las calles, y esta es una calle para las personas que vienen, o sea, no es para autos. Ahí tenemos la modelo, la intérprete y la guía turística. Y esta es toda la calle donde están todas las tiendas para comprar y comer. Seguimos caminando por acá por San Agustín y de casualidad nos da con mirar. Y en una de las entraditas, miren qué grande es este pasillo repleto de diferentes comercios.
On the shoulder. Gentlemen, Magnolia Avenue. As we come down here, you may be very disappointed to find that these are not magnolia trees. They're live oak trees. The live oak trees get pushed by our bay breeze from the right-hand side over to the left-hand side, creating the amazing canopy above us. And people come from all over the world to take beautiful photos down here, wedding pictures, engagement pictures, baby pictures, pictures of the trolley. It's awesome. All right, I hope you got your pictures, because we're moving. On the right-hand side, you'll also be able to see the wall to the Fountain of Youth and the village of Savoy. The wall itself is created using an early form of cement called tabby. I call it stabby tabby because it is made to be as stabby as possible. If an enemy soldier were to climb over that wall, even the smallest of scratches from the oysters on that wall would actually cause a terrible, awful bacterial infection. Everybody say yay! As we are headed into stop number 22, ladies and gentlemen, the Fountain of Youth and the village of Savoy. There's over 15 open-air acres for you to explore and enjoy. They do have cannon fire.
People from downtown are going to come throw tomatoes at your face. I suggest take advantage of those little bit of this here's our birthday. Did anybody see me? Alrighty, this actually is the music front of our jail. That's what got that pretty porch. These like clean and Victorian trim. Those pretty windows and pretty curtains. You better look so pretty on the inside, right? You are not a man, you go on the wall. You get in there, watch your step. No. Yes, just, you can put it, actually, here, we can bring it. No, actually. Here, over here. Alrighty, y'all, this is maximum security. This is where we keep the worst of the worst murders and horse thieves. Yes, this is 1908 horse thieves are very common. Horse thieves are now you're not going to be working the chain and shackles that go around the ankle. What size that's all? That right there is a ball and chain, or I like to call marriage. Renovate. Renovate. Yes. It's getting renovated. Renovate.
oficina de la cárcel.
16 to 20 hours in here, we cannot wait until our duties are finished.
Esto es que lo más que podía durar un preso aquí, según el guía nos ha mencionado, es un año. Un año aquí y luego pues, moría. Obviamente la desnutrición y todo eso. Las paredes pueden ver cómo de gordas son, bien anchas. Arriba cabían seis jaulas seis prisiones, mejor dicho, ¿verdad? Que los tienen como animales, son jaulas. Tienen 6 arriba y estos abajo. Es impresionante ver esto. Cómo trataban antes, obviamente, a los que desobedecían las leyes. Pero no es lo mismo escucharlo que cuando estás aquí, lo puedes ver en vivo y a todo color. Obviamente no la pasaban nada de bien en esos espacios tan pequeños. Nada de bien. Y aquí tenemos una que ya mismo va para la celda. Ya mismo para la celda. Este es el área entonces. Miren que bien la pasaban ellos ahí. El pitojito. Esto sí. La pasaban del show. Una galería con fotos de la época, las ejecuciones. El Museo de Tortura Medieval. Así que aquí vamos subiendo.
A straight vertical bar with a hole at the end of the neck was fastened to the back of a chair on which the convict sat. The executioner inserted a spiral screw with handles into the hole and began to rotate it. With each turn, the iron stump approached the convict's neck. When the screw entered the body, the cervical vertebrae broke with a nasty crunch. The spinal cord tore. It was believed that this paralyzed the victim, saving him from debilitating agony. The last country to use the garrote was Andorra in 1990.
Las formas de ejecutar a las personas en la época medieval. La guillotina.
Wearing it, they were deprived of the opportunity to eat. The janitor's were led through the streets in clownish masks with horns sticking out of their mouths. Liars tried on long noses, and those who liked to eavesdrop wore large comical ears. Passers-by would shout insults at the masks, laughing and sometimes toss.
Aquí era para quemar. Aquí le sacan la lengua. Aquí era con agua la tortura. Aquí es una rata.